Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Marvel Snap podcast. I'm Ken here with Luke Muncher. How you doing, Luke? All right.
Doing good.
Val is here in spirit. Um, he's taking a break right now, but he'll definitely be back. Um, Now we also have somebody that you guys should know. He was in the New York tournament. He also has a huge YouTube channel. His name is Drew. Drew, welcome to the podcast.
Yo, what's up, guys? Thanks for
What's
having
going on?
me.
Of course. Drewberry
Not too
Snap is
much,
huge. Always great. Check it out. So, welcome. Thank you for taking the time and coming out. We got some cool things to talk about, and let's kick it off. So, I'm sure you guys all got your free pixel. Sorry, free variant. A lot of people got pixels right now. But you guys got your free variants for them apologizing for having that. Um, I
The
forgot what it
variant
was.
in
The
the
variant
pay
in
track
the
instead of the free.
there you go.
Yep.
Yes. So we all got our variants. We're gonna start off with the one that I got, of course, and that was the Dan Hip Kazar.
I really
Um,
like this one
Oh
a lot.
man, yeah. Congratulations. That's a top
Thank you.
tier pluck. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even know this in the game yet. Definitely was surprised to open it and get this because I already have all of the mystery variants before today. So normally when I do open a mystery variant, it's gold. So today I was like, let me take a chance and see why would they give me gold, right? So I clicked on it and I saw it and I was like, fantastic. So this Dan Hip variant is awesome. I love Dan Hip art, especially with non-humans, but this one, wow, you did a great job.
Man,
All right.
I gotta say, I adore the fact that you have all the variants because I get to see what's new and when it's released and everything. And I love checking your Twitter to see what you get. So just
Yes.
knowing that this is out there, this is the variant for him that I want for sure.
Yes,
So good.
this one is great. All right. Then we can open up what did Luke get? Let's see.
I mean, I'm always happy with pretty much any variant I get. This one's okay. It's not my favorite
Ooh,
Mojo.
okay.
I did get a mystery variant Mojo a while back. That was the sports one with like the sports finger, and I still think I like that one better.
Gotcha. I like this one
Yeah,
too.
that's the one I have on the bottom left there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luca. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one.
This one's not bad though. I like this one too.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. And let's see what Drew
I
got.
didn't have to do anything for it.
That is fair. You didn't spend any gold, nothing. All
Now
right.
I'm real jealous of Drew's here.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's take
Pretty
a look and
excited
see.
about it.
Oh, look at that. All right, guys. So this is Drew's variant.
Suspense.
Oh,
There
The
we go.
Thanos, baby Thanos.
yes. Finally, not a pixel in one of those mystery cards, mystery variants. I was pretty shocked. I have a lot of Scotty Young variants. I didn't realize I was buying them from the shop as much as I do. And I looked at my collection one day and I was like, wow, I really like this artist. And then I got this one and I was just like, yeah, that's perfect.
One of the good baby variants for sure. There's a lot of awesome baby and chibi variants. This
Yeah.
one's a good one. I definitely like this
Yeah,
one.
I got a question for you guys though, because by pure luck, I haven't bought a Thanos variant, but I have 3 at this point. And so I have the baby now, but I also have the
Mhm.
pixel and I have the one with the butterfly where he's
I like
like,
that one. That's my
yeah.
favorite.
Okay. Yeah.
I have the butterfly one, but that's the only one I've ever seen. So I snatched it up because I can't play base cards.
Yeah.
But I do like the baby one. The baby variants are like one of my like kind of things I like to collect. Pretty much any baby that I see, I try to pick it up or whatever. And I like to, when I do Twitter battles, I post a code online, and I have a baby deck that is just all baby arts. So I would love the Thanos one to throw in there.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
good.
I have this one. I have this one as well. But I definitely like the butterfly one. Wow, Flaviano has one? Jeez.
Yeah, that looks fresh.
Yeah, I don't think that
That
one's
looks
in yet, but I like that one a
no,
lot.
that looks amazing.
I
All
think
right, so
there's
yeah.
That other one, if you go back to Thanos and go down, the very last one looked really cool too. Yeah,
Yeah,
that one. Yeah, I
Oh,
like
I haven't seen that one.
me
Oh,
neither.
it looks like he's about to football tackle somebody. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
the stance is
he's
so
squaring
perfect.
up.
He's
It
squaring up.
definitely
Yeah.
is. Wow. We could look at variants all day because wow,
Yes.
for sure. But yeah, that's an awesome one to get. Congratulations. And shout out to Second Dinner for giving out mystery variants today. Shout out to them for that. Very awesome. I know we are still waiting for Kitty Pride to show up or come back, right? So I'm not sure what they're going to give us for that. But a quick question about it. When do you think she'll be back in the game?
Hopefully
Oh,
the 18th. Hopefully next patch. But
Hopefully.
yeah. I'm in the same boat. I definitely hope for the next patch because it seems like that's when they do those sort of things. I guess they're waiting for that one big patch a month. But I feel like the lack of communication or response to the questions online about it kind of gets me nervous. Like maybe she's really broken. I don't know, but I'm
well,
hoping as
I
well.
think they're working on it, and I think they haven't said anything because there's kind of last minute if they're going to fit in there because we've seen
Mhm.
like they kind of do lock patches in a little earlier before they come out.
Right.
They have to get them certified and all that stuff. But with Kitty happening, what 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, like I feel like they could have maybe squeezed it into this one. So I'm hoping so.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. That's my concern. I think this patch is non Kitty Pride. I think it's everything else, and they didn't have time. And she probably comes in the next patch, and
I,
that's why
I
they kind of being quiet about it.
I think we get to it in the blog post we'll read here in a minute, but I do think they call the next patch an action packed patch. So I feel
Okay,
like a lot of things are coming. So maybe that's one of them.
I
Yeah.
hope so. All
Yeah.
right. So with every new season, we have a bunch of new cards. Of course, we had Hit Monkey, which you spoke about last week, which I think is a great card. Drew, how do you feel about it? Do you have Hit Monkey?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I picked him up right away and I've been loving it. I really like the card when it's flexible in quite a few decks and then also is pretty strong right away. I find a lot of people have been putting in their decks to get to infinite pretty quickly, and I'm seeing a lot of new decks spawn from it. So yeah, and it's just a fun card. It's just so much fun.
Totally agree. Yeah, I think Hit Monkey is a great battle pass card. One of the better ones, to be honest.
Mhm.
Nimrod was cool. Miles was good too, but Hit Monkey hits the spot.
Mhm.
All right. So with that, we have a new card this week, and every week going forward for the rest of the season, and that is Snowguard. Did any of you guys pick her up today?
Haven't seen her.
She's in my shop, but I'm passing on this one. I have to be honest.
Passing. All right.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
For
I
we
know.
we
those,
talked about it last week. I think it's a little too limited right now with the effects that they can do. I've seen some cool stuff like I've seen people like shutting down limbos and stuff like that, and like the occasional bear trigger. Like we talked about it last week, but only working on 21 locations out of like 110 in the game is
right.
kind of a sour note for me.
Mhm.
And then even like all those 21, they're not all beneficial. Like it's like District X and Luminous, which doesn't help you if you trigger them again. So.
Yeah. For those who don't know what Snowguard does, it turns into a bear and a hawk. And the bear's ability is trigger the effect of this location. So location you play it on, it would trigger that effect. And this hawk is ignore all locations abilities next turn. So if you play this on turn 4, then on turn 5 you don't have to worry about Dream Dimension or even Avengers Compound. So that's basically what the card is. It's a 1/2, so it can be Killmonger, and that's it. That's all it does. So I totally understand why people are passing on it. I did pick it up. I have the
Oh.
tokens to spare right now, so why not? Um, I am going to test it out tonight on stream. Probably drop some ranks for sure. But yeah, I think this card is good because of its new animations and interaction. We never had a card that does this. Um, I think people compare it to like Scarlet Witch or any of those other cards that kind of change the location. This one kind of does that, but also don't. So I think should not be a Series 5 card. I don't even know if it should even be a Series 4. I think it should definitely go down to like Series 2. But I'm waiting to see what people do with this card.
Yeah, I feel like if I had more agency over when she's a hawk and when she's a bear, then I'd be more into this card. I just feel like more often than not, when I want to use the hawk, it might switch to a bear, and then I'm like, then my curve is messed up for when I want to use it as a hawk on the correct turn, and that just kind of gets a little bit messy for me, and that's what made me shy away from the pick. And I heard Lou talk on the last episode. Everyone's got to go back and listen to it. But when you mentioned about the locations, 20, dude, the Bears, and like you guys were talking about, all the locations, even those 20 are like Triskelion and spawning stuff. Like it's not even great. So yeah, the Bear is in a rough spot. But the Eagle, I saw TLSG's video today, and that was awesome. He had some highlight reel plays with that, using the Eagle at like a flooded location, opening it up for an opportunity to play more cards there. Like that sort of thing is pretty neat. But yeah, the inconsistency is rough.
Yeah, this one's interesting. I would like to see, because when they, like a month or two ago, when they changed the effect with one of the patches and we got new effects, because this recently, it got way back in the day, it got data mined with different effects and had 3 forms and stuff. And so completely changed the effect. I was really excited about this for exactly what you talked about, Ken. We haven't really seen effects that do like this. We've had stuff change locations and stuff, but we haven't had them like shut it down or trigger the effect again and stuff. And I'd like to, maybe I should reach out to someone on Second Dinner's team, but I'd like to know if they started off with it being more open of maybe the shutting down happening only for you, because I've seen other people say, to make this card better, that when you shut something down, that it should only work for you, not your opponent, so you could play into the flooding or shut down something for your opponent. But then it gets tricky also, because how do you shut down Limbo just for one person or whatever? But I really think it was a conscious choice with Bear, because when I first saw this card, and maybe it was just my mistake, but I totally thought it would work with like Stark Tower and stuff like that, and I thought that would be huge, and that would add way more locations that would work. But it doesn't work with effects that have like a specific turn trigger, and so I think that's a big flaw. And I just wondered if at any point in design, do they think about opening up to that, or was it that before and they thought it was too strong? Like, well, what's behind there? Because I was really excited about this card when it was first data mined, but I just think it having such limited uses, and exactly what Drew was saying, like this card is so weird. How good it's going to be depends on so much random stuff. What locations are on the field, what's happening on the board when you do have it, and when you draw it. Because if you draw it on turn 1 or turn 4, it's going to be like in a different sequence of Bear and Hawk back and forth. So yeah, it's awkward.
Yeah, I want to try to beast this card and see what happens. I want to try a few things, because I totally agree. Can we beast it with the Hawk and then hope, okay, that's what we're going to use going forward? I mean, so far, I've used it for Morag and it's been great, right? Because I can play in Morag whenever I want now. But I would definitely like to see, like you said, more of a control of it. Like if we beast it, does it remain that animal?
So I have an answer for that, because we talked about this last week, and I reached out to Glenn on Twitter after that, and he did. So if you return it to your hand, like if it's Bear and you return it to your hand, it will be Bear when it comes back, but then at the start of your next turn, it will transform back into Hawk. But that does give you some, like, let's say you play it on turn 1, like just straight up turn 1, you play it, and you do have like Beast or Falcon, then you can, as the game plays out, if you're planning ahead, you can control a little bit of when you bounce it back to your hand. because if you played it on turn 1 as Hawk, you know that you can turn it back to your hand on a turn, and the next turn it will be Bear. So you can kind of control it in that sense.
It's a lot of work. But
yeah, meanwhile, your
Yes,
opponent's got
yes.
Sunspot, Lizard, and
Exactly. Or they just Killmonger it, and you're just like, oh,
yeah.
there goes my plans.
yeah, so what do we think, guys? Pass? Hard pass,
Yes.
right?
Pass.
100%. Guys, do not spend your tokens on this card. Those who did, like myself, and I'm sure Kawa got it, everybody else that has a full collection, we're crazy. All the same people, please do not spend your tokens on this card. All right. So, of course, some awesome things happened last week. I'm sure you guys saw it. Second Dinner put out a nice OTA patch. And let's go through it right now.
The first of its kind.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was losing
100%.
my mind at work. I was
Technically
like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah,
they're gonna
exactly.
be doing these once a week. Are you kidding me? I'm getting ahead of
Right.
myself.
That's the good part.
Hype. Yeah.
Yes.
So, for those who are unaware, OTA stands for over there and refers to a hotfix change we're making to content outside of our usually semi-monthly patch schedule. So this week they put out this awesome patch which kind of nerfed Red Skull, nerfed kinda Sunspot, buffed Shadow King, shout out to the buffs, and buff Sentry. So with the Red Skull, of course, this was made to kind of calm those people who are very upset with the Shuri meta right now. And of course, as they mentioned here, Shuri is getting a nerf, right? That will be implemented in the next patch.
They say change.
We know it's going to be a nerf. We know it's going to be a nerf. And that nerf essentially is going to deal with her ability. Now, how do you guys feel about the meta? Real quick, we don't have to dive into it. Do you think the Shuri Red Skull meta is bad or good? Start with you, Luke.
I think it's bad. That's pretty much all I see when I climb the ladder. I've been playing a lot more battle mode with friends the past couple weeks. But yeah, it's tough. It's hard. I mean, especially like they just can draw such good hands with like Cosmo and just protecting it. There's just not a lot of things that you can do to interact with them. I mean, there are some, but I feel like if I tech my deck to beat them a little bit more, then I end up not playing them, which I understand is just bad luck. But yeah, so Shuri just seems a little oppressive right now. So, I mean, I'm sorry for you, Ken. I'm sorry for your loss, but hopefully they won't leader her. So, yeah, hopefully they won't leader her, but yeah.
Yeah, I have hopes that they won't later. It seems what Glenn's saying is like maybe that was the last time they'll do a nerf that hard. But I think it's a bit frustrating whenever there's a meta that's going on for so long where if I build a deck and I look at it after I've put the 12 cards in and I go, can this beat Shuri Red Skull? Does this have any options for that deck? And if it doesn't, I basically can't run with it on the ladder to be competitive. That's where I feel like there's just an issue. There should be at least a couple of decks at the top, not just one soaring above all the others. And we kind of have this Sarah Hitmonkey thing that I've seen pop up a lot and everyone is playing, or even the Electro Ramp. So there's a lot of potential decks that are like fringe contenders, but it's just like, oh my gosh, like Luke was saying, like it feels like 5-1. It's a Shuri deck. It's just like all the time. Like, so I know you guys have some opinions on this because I've heard your opinions. I see it on Twitter and stuff. So I'm interested to hear you take this. The reason I'm so excited about these weekly balance changes, these Thursday OTAs and plus the big balance change, I actually am an advocate for change cards like crazy. And if it's too far, then reel it back. So like they did this crazy change with leader. Now I'd love to see a leader buff. And then leader's fun again. And then we can kind of go with these upswings and downswings. And then maybe balance patches feel a little bit less sensitive because you know your card might come back later. There's a tricky part with money. And I think the general player base struggles with that, right? Oh, you nerf the card that I just spent my tokens on. That is a huge problem, honestly. But like this OTA, like just making little nudges to a few cards. And then I think even in this post right now that we're looking at, right at the last paragraph, he says, once that change to Shuri is live, will we revert this or previous Red Skull changes? Maybe. So like they're just kind of saying like we can go back and forth on the cards, and I'm here for it. I think it's fun to shuffle things up that way.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of how they are handling this. I think this game is unique because if you think about other card games like Magic or Hearthstone, like they have 2 or 3 months within where they don't have any new cards, and then they have a whole bunch of new cards come out once and they shake everything up, but it usually shakes things up a lot because they're 30, 40, 50, 60 new cards. And then but with this, we're getting like one card a week ish. And then I think being able to make the cards that are underplayed and be able to buff them, give them a little nudge. Like we're going to talk about the other cards, Shadow King that Ken mentioned and stuff like that, and Century. And so I think being able to do that, I don't know if you were talking about me when you're talking about it on Twitter, but I actually posted that today. I was at work on lunch, and I just was sitting there thinking, like, what could they do on the next, OTA change? And I just listed off some that I'd like to see, just a little buff to try to like Angel. Like, why not make Angel a 1/3? He's just going to get Killmongered anyway, but maybe you'll see a little bit more play. And then being able to also toggle stuff down a little bit. Like, I think the weekly changes be able to shift the meta and help cards see more play is only a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a big fan of what you were talking about too. Yeah, I made that point too. A lot of people, responded to that on Twitter. It's like, oh, that might be too much of this card or too much. I'm like, well, that's what's great. If it is, then they can just change it the next week. Like,
exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun, so much to talk about in Snap, and so much changing. Like, if it's every week, like these minor, I think they only said only 3 or 4 cards are going to get nudges in these
Right.
OTAs, which is pretty reasonable, especially since they're testing it out and seeing how it goes. But imagine like one thing I've always enjoyed about Snap compared to other card games, like you were saying, Hearthstone, is you go 2 to 3 months, there's a set meta, like within a week, even though it's a lot of cards, within a week, people got it figured out. Well, with Snap, I am a huge fan of featured locations. Okay, I like the way they have it now with the 1 day. And
Right.
I think that's more reasonable for everybody. And I love the idea that I could build a deck. I could climb like 10, 20 ranks because I figured out this quick little puzzle this week. And then every week I get a new little puzzle and I got to figure it out. And I feel like these OTA changes are going to do something similar. All of a sudden the card has changed. People underestimate it still, don't think the change is all that great. I start putting in a deck, make a new deck perhaps, and then it starts to take off. Like the fact that we get that every week, and then we get the new location every week, or new location / hot location, whatever. I think it's just I'm here for it. I love all these changes. The direction for Snap is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a great direction for them. It puts them in a great position to make things different every week, like you just said. And that's the big thing, right? We quick to get tired of things that are always the same. And for them to do this every week, it's huge. Even if the card is a card that nobody uses. Let's say they give Crystal a power bump this Thursday. Why not? Everybody start playing Crystal now, right? That changes everything. Everybody starts swapping cards, find ways to play better with Crystal, and it'll be fun. So I'm happy that they're doing this. I just don't want them to nerf Shuri. That's all. That's all. But I do understand that the Shuri Red Skull Taskmaster, the Shuri She-Hulk Taskmaster, is a big problem right now, especially for those people who don't have Shuri. So it becomes a problem when people want to play and they have to, like you said, make a deck around that versus just make a deck and have fun. Now, I think there's a lot of ways to play and beat Shuri. I see that now. But of course, again, you still need these cards. So the Shuri nerf that's coming, I just hope it's not too bad. My take is if they keep it where she can still double the card's power, I think that'd be great. But realistically, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they probably make it where it's a set number. So now no more than plus 10 might be, or plus 6 or something like that. I don't think they can do anything else to not nerf her, right? Because they keep it doubled, it's a problem. If they don't, and they do something like next lane, I don't know. It still doesn't fix Shuri on 4, Red Skull 5 in another lane, and then Taskmaster. So I think they have to change how much power she gives to that next card. But we don't have too long to wait. Next week, this time, we're able to see what's going on. Now, Red Skull going from a 515 to 513, giving +2 in the location to now +1, and now being a 512. Yeah, Red Skull needs that 515 back. But I hope after the Shuri nerf, they put him back where he was.
Yes.
And then Sunspot. People say this is a nerf. I think it's normal, right? Angela, same thing happened to her after the beta. She no longer have a power. So why not do it to Sunspot? I get it. It changes it now from it being a 1/6 to a 1/5 versus it being a 1/6 or having it powered up. I think this also makes it good in a negative deck, right? Put them in a negative deck with Hitmonkey, get all those zeros, play Lady Thor, and then drop a bunch of cards at the end, right? You can do that now with Sunspot. How do you guys feel about the Sunspot nerf?
It's exactly what you said. Like I feel like it's basically the same, but I mean it does help in some cases that one power will matter. And I don't think it's anything too crazy with the whole Mr. Negative synergy there, but it is something else you can Jane and draw out of your deck.
Right.
So that's cool. But it is a nerf. It's a slight nerf. It will lose some people some amount of games sometimes, but yeah, I think it was a fine change. Don't know if it necessarily needed to happen, but I think 1-drops are in a weird spot in this game. Like obviously Sunspot's a great one, but because Killmonger exists, I mean even Elektra exists. If 1-drops really took off one day, you could really put some hate in for 1-drops. So yeah, I think 1-drops are in a weird spot that they need to look at in general. Because it's either cards like this that can just get you crazy value, or cards that like Iceman and stuff that come down and packed, and then you don't care if it dies or not. Iceman's already made that tempo play, but yeah.
So you think Sunspot still doesn't get put in every deck? I think he does.
No, I think he does.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think it really matters too much. Like this change with Sunspot, I think it just proves that they need to relook at 1-drops in general. Because I think Sunspot is still the best 1-drop in the game. Until maybe Kitty comes back. I don't know.
Okay,
yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's tough, right? I totally agree with the 1-drops being in a weird spot. I don't know how they answer that. And it's weird, right? Because some of the 1-drops have their spots. Like a few that you mentioned are the ones that are easy to throw in decks, but then you could talk about like Blade kind of works in discard. Bass seems to be really good value in most case scenarios. I don't know. Zero is like probably one of the better ones right now just because of the deck he works in. But
those are all cards that exactly what I just said. They all hit the field, do what you want them to do. Discard a card, change your cards to 3 power, make the next card not have an ability. Then you don't care if they get Killmongered or anything.
Yeah.
So, but then you think about other 1-drops that you want to sit there and do something like Sunspot's the only one because that value is so good. Like Sunspot could be Killmongered, but everyone plays armor with it too. So.
Yeah, I know, right? But I think this change to Sunspot was perfect because I don't think you could be more harsh with it unless you wanted to push it out of the meta. And then like to make him 2 or something like that, right? Like that'd be probably too rough. And a lot of people like the card, and it is counterable, like you said, like Killmonger. Even though people don't run a lot of 1-drops, and then Sunspot tends to be the only 1-drop in a deck, it still gets wrecked by Killmonger a lot of the time. So yeah, I think it was a good change.
All right, perfect. And then the card that nobody played with until Thursday, Shadow King. I totally am one of those persons that did not touch Shadow King. I had him, didn't touch him. Went to a 3/3, threw him in a deck with Sarah and Hitmonkey, and it's been super fun. Shadow King is a big surprise. He's like the reverse Shang-Chi, right? So instead of destroying those big cards, you just drop those high 19 bishops or 9 Angelas back down to 0 or 1. And that's the best feeling, especially playing Shadow King now. So I think this was great, making him a 3/3, which also helps him get buff from Surfer. So I think that was awesome. How do you guys feel about this buff for Shadow King?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Shadow King. I've ever since he came out, I've kind of wanted, but I was like, it's not worth 6,000 tokens. Even when it went down to 3,000, I was like, I'm still gonna wait. There's a lot of exciting cards coming up. But this card came into my shop immediately after this change went live, the next reset. So I immediately bought them, and I've been having a lot of fun. We were talking about it earlier. I've been playing Cerebro 3. It's interesting in that deck because if like random buffs like a Wakanda or not Wakanda Embassy hits your hand, you can Shadow King to set your cards back down to 3, so your Cerebro will work again. Like there's a lot of interesting things with that. I played against a deck the other day with I was playing against Hazmat, and I knew because they played turn 2 Luke Cage. So I just played like all my stuff in one lane, knowing that they were gonna play it in there because they played Wong later. So then I was like, haha. And then so they had priority. They negative everything. And then I was like, set everything back to normal on my side. But yeah, I think it's a super fun card. And it also helps with the Sunspot. If Sunspot sees so much play, like I've been beating Sunspots with this too, because normally Sunspots are growing on turn 2, turn 3, when there's not a lot going on. But turn 5, 4, 5, 6, like you are playing cards, you are using pretty much all your mana all the time, so it's not growing past that point. So you can just Shadow King and shrink that Sunspot back to 0. It's been really fun to do that too.
I don't own him yet, but he sounds fun. He sounds fun. I like where I get mixed up is he's obviously cheaper, but compared to Valkyrie, for instance, like they kind of do similar things, right? But you can do that Valkyrie swing where you have like an ongoing effect, or you have some kind of surprise, like an Ant-Man or whatever, with your lane, and you hit the Wasp, Yellow Jacket, whatever, and you hit your opponent's big stuff. And then Shadow King kind of does a little bit of the same thing, almost, if you can get away with it. I know if they have base power that's higher or just naturally good, it's not as good as Valkyrie, but they kind of seem similar to me. And yet he's cheaper. And 1 energy decrease, that's a big deal. So I have high hopes, but I haven't been able to play him. But you guys sound like you're having fun with them.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, that 1 cost drop is perfect. So I'm happy for him.
It helps a lot.
Yeah, hands down. And Lute's right. When this card was mentioned, Lute was like all over it. Oh, I can't wait to get Shadow King. And then he never got him. And I'm like, okay.
I do that all the time.
I gotta save those tokens.
Yeah. I'm always like, yes, this card, I'm gonna get this card. And then it gets up close and I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, oh shoot, I don't know. Like, or maybe there's like some other cards announced. I'm like, oh man, now I gotta wait for those.
Wow. No, I totally get it. And then we have Sentry. This was the last card I got to finalize having every card at that moment. Was very hesitant, did not want to purchase this, but I wanted a full collection. I got it. I used it like twice, never used it again. Seen some cool stuff where people use it and either Viper the Void or, like you said, Valkyrie it. Pretty good stuff. Now, he goes from a 4/8 to 4/10, putting a -10 to the right. I've seen a lot of Sentry plays now. Because it's a 4/10, what do you guys think about it? Do you guys have Sentry? Did you have him before the buff? Did you play him, etc.? What's your take, guys?
So I got him the Tuesday before the changes in a cache, like I just in collection level.
Yep.
And I was excited, but I was like, not really the time to play with them. I'm trying to climb still and stuff. So I was like, I'll test them out in battle mode and stuff. Didn't really play with them, and then instantly after this change happens, like, okay, well, I'm gonna go play with them now. And gotta test them out now. But yeah, I've been having fun with them, and I've thought Sentry was a similar card to Shadow King for me, where it looked interesting, looked like you could build around and do some stuff with it. Cosmos just to shut down the effect. Now the 410's a lot better. Another card to help against leech, leech me, and then I get a 410 with no downside. Like I'm cool with that.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's really nice with Shadow King and Sentry being those cards that these were the cards that they buffed, because these were cards that came out as Series 5 cards and stuff. And so seeing that they are buffing those cards to give you a little bit more incentive to get your hands on them and try them out. I like the change to Sentry a lot.
Yeah, I don't have Sentry as well. I know, but not because I don't really want to. It's just again like tokens, trying to get the new stuff. But I've always been interested in him. Honestly, even when he was 8 and then the -8, the idea of running him in a destroy deck or Viper shenanigans to throw it over, or like Ken said, like Valkyrie, like. I see the potential for sure. And now that he's a 410, which isn't that just the funniest stat line in Snap? It seems like every 4-drop just aspires to get to 10 power.
They just all want to be Shang-Chi'd.
Yeah, exactly. Get into Shang-Chi range. Oh man, that's so true. But yeah, it did it for him. It seems everyone seems to be talking about him. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited to get this one. And Ken probably knows this best. I think he has some of the best variants, if not the best variant pool in the game. My goodness.
Yes. So far, every Sentry variant, even a Pixel, is flawless.
Yeah.
So we can show that if you guys want to see it. Just let me know. I'll pull it up right now.
You pull it up. Let the YouTube people see it.
Yeah.
We could look at it on the website. We can do it on the website. Let me put it on the website.
Nice. Yeah. Pick some
totally
favorites.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is great. It's great buffs for them, giving them that playability now. Everybody wants to play with them. I think that's a great thing. So I'm happy that they did that.
Yeah, I think these were 2 fantastic buffs right off the bat for this, and I'm sure we'll bring it up here in a minute. But I was reading through this a while ago. They do guarantee, which I mean, I'm sure things can change, at least 1 buff every OTA. So that's nice.
Oh yeah,
look at those variants.
So
look at that Kim. Look at that Kim one. I like that Kim one a lot.
Oh,
that's insane.
Wow, that mid left though.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a luchador one.
Yeah, me neither. So I have this one, and that one. These aren't out yet, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But these 3 are out. And wow, they have a wrestler one. This wrestler one is sick.
Yeah.
I have all the wrestler ones so far, so I need that one now too.
Yes. And then this Kim one looks crazy.
Yeah. That's some crazy like anime stuff.
Yeah, but this one is my favorite one right now.
That one's sick. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Looks like he's busting through a wall or something.
Yeah. This one looks like
the Kool-Aid Man.
The real Valkyrie one. I know you've seen it.
Yeah. I thought I'm just learning this now. It's not Art Germ. I thought it was the Art Germ artist for this.
Oh yeah.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it does. Right. It does look like it. But wow.
So good.
Because
I adore this one.
Yeah. This one?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. This one is definitely the best.
I might pop that one, but the one on the bottom on the unicorn, I'm kind of thinking I'm going to stay for that Peach promo.
Yeah. Peach does a great job. She does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Valkyrie has some great ones too. I can't wait to get that baby one for my baby deck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so definitely shout out to all the artists doing awesome variants.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But back to the balance future and what they plan to do. So basically this is saying, every Thursday they'll be doing OTAs. Like Luke mentioned, we should be getting a buff every Thursday, 1 buff. Which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, when it gets to will we be nerfing or buffing cards, they say that they intend to do at least 1 buff each patch. So.
And of course, 2 to 4 cards, which is what we mentioned, which is awesome. And I think this is great. This is a great direction they're going in. I know, Lou, you mentioned a few buffs and nerfs you would like to see in this week's OTA. Drew, do you have any that you want to mention or that you want to see in the next OTA?
Spicy. Buffs are tough for me. I think the number one that I always think of is Angel, because I don't know. I just feel like so bad that card needs to fly out of your hand or deck if a card is destroyed.
Yeah.
But then the other ones that a lot of people talk about, honestly, even like a card like Black Bolt, like when Stature came out, I thought, okay, well, there you go. We get a little support. Like if we had one more support card for that archetype, I don't know. I don't even think you need to buff him. He'd have his spot just then and there. But that's actually, it's a little off topic, I suppose. But I saw Glenn talk about this, where new cards in Snap, with the way it works, don't really work as balance tools compared to other card games because of the delay to hit the general population. So, and the delay to design. So they have cards designed probably up until I imagine like September, October, in their release schedule already fairly figured out. And then they don't know what the meta is going to be like. And by the time the meta arrives in those months, probably some different archetypes, some different deck spawn that's too powerful. And then the new cards that come out don't exactly address it. I think he mentioned it with the Shadow King. That was like Shadow King's purpose was to handle decks like the Shuri Red Skull. But it was a little too late, wasn't really doing it, so they had to buff them. But anyways, off topic. But yeah, some of those buffs. Nerfs, honestly, it's really just look at the Shuri deck. I think Thanos is okay.
Yeah, Thanos got what it needed. Quinjet, nerf, kind of helped that out. So
yeah,
Thanos is fun to play with now and not too overpowering.
Oh, you know what? Controversial, but I got to call it out.
Let's hear it.
I think Cosmo does way too much in this game. It kind of triggers me sometimes a little bit, because there's like well over 100 unreveal cards now that card counters, but we do not have a means to counter Cosmo. And I'm not saying nerf this card to the ground, because I know it's a necessity to the game. Right. But like, man, I can't talk about a non-reveal combo without people spamming Cosmo faces and memes. Like it's like it's I don't know, it can be frustrating sometimes.
I'm sure Ken is sick of this. I've said this change probably on 10 podcasts at this point, but I think the answer is actually Enchantress. I think you should just you want Enchantress to stop ongoing, but to help fight the Cosmos, why not make Enchantress ongoing instead of on reveal, and then it shuts down every other ongoing in that lane. I think that could be a way that, Enchantress still has her desired effect of shutting down ongoing, but allows it to also answer the Cosmos.
So will she stop herself though?
Well, I'm saying you say any.
No.
Yeah, change it to any other. I mean, I guess an Enchantress would stop an Enchantress, but maybe you make it like Daredevil. One thing I did want to point out too that I thought was cool, and Drew kind of said something earlier and I forgot for a moment, but then looking through these notes, it made me remember of like, why do them on Thursday? And I think that it's actually is a great cadence, because on Tuesday we get the new card and Token Tuesday. Wednesday we get the new location, and then Thursday we get the OTA changes. So I think it's a fantastic rhythm of through the week of exciting to log on to Snap every day to see what's new, what's changing. So.
This game is actually so busy. I don't know about you guys, but it's wild. Like I'm just trying to work my full-time job, do life here up in here, and it seems like every day I'm looking at my phone and there's like something going on in Twitter. Somebody's talking about something. Like I'm like, wow, this is wild.
Yeah, Snap is definitely growing. It's getting bigger, and definitely love it. Definitely love it. For Cosmo, we have a card though. We have Negasonic. There you go. Just guess where they're going to drop the Cosmo, Negasonic, and wait. Watch that Cosmo
guess,
blow up.
Have priority, just all the things.
Hey, we got a card.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I've been testing some Negasonic interactions out, and what do you think happens with Hulkbuster?
Oh,
I have not seen that one. I've played.
Does it capture
a good bit?
Does it merge with the card and then blow up?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I imagine that's what would happen because of the Absorbing Man. Absorbing Man does the same thing. Like if you play like a turn 1 Iceman and then turn 2 whatever, then turn 3 Hulkbuster onto the Iceman, you'll Absorbing Man and you'll Iceman. So I figured it'd probably be the same thing with Negasonic. So.
Oh,
That
that's
is awesome.
that's wild.
That's
The
good stuff
chains are so good. Yeah.
for sure. But that's good though. See, there you go. Negasonic can stop Cosmo. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with Snap. Um, I had a question for you guys in regards to the cards and them coming out. Do you feel like for exist now, Snowguard? Do you feel that we should have every card drop in the second or third week of the season versus waiting every season for a new card?
What do you mean?
So, so next week, Tuesday,
Mhm.
they give us all 3 new cards
Oh, I see
Oh,
what you
okay.
mean.
Yeah, yeah,
versus
yeah.
us getting it one every week.
So yeah, we talked about this before. Yeah, I would like that change. I don't think it'd be that crazy to introduce them all when the season pass drops. So
Right.
season pass drops, and then the 3 new cards for that month, along with the season pass card, are just in the token shops and they're out. And then you have all month to decide which ones you want and to pick up as they're coming through and what do you want to save up. I think that'd be a nice change. I mean, we've talked about it 1,000 times. You even brought it up earlier. I think the biggest thing they need to change with the token shopper like that is Snowguard should come out as a Series 4, like at least, if not a Series 3. But they should really look into cards coming out at Series 4, and then you can still make it exciting because you have like 4 cards. You could still do like the season pass card, 2 Series 5, and like 1 Series 4, or vice versa, or whatever. So.
Yeah. I feel like they hesitate on tiering the releases in different series because then it feels like a power imbalance, maybe because a lot of the free to play players maybe just snatch up the new thing and it might not be as strong as what some of the more like not pay to win, but you know what I mean, like buyers can acquire if they put a little bit more money to get those other cards. So like I don't know. I would love to see it. I feel like that's the reason though that they're holding off. I've said this a bunch of times and I still stand by it. I think an awesome, kind of like what Ken was saying. I actually really like that idea, Ken, because I've been a big advocate for what if you could choose your card at the start of the month. So if I bought the season pass, rather than getting a season pass card, I would have the option of 1 of 4 and I get to choose it. It makes it really exciting every month. I keep coming back because it's my decision. I get to choose the card that I'm most excited for. It's the easiest step into like paywall, if you know what I mean. I think majority of players are willing to cough up the money to get the season pass. And then a big pushback on that I've had is thematically, there's always that one card. But if we look at this season, was this season really Hitmonkey or was it Jeff the baby land shark? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like
I think it was supposed to be Jeff. It was supposed to be Jeff. And I think Jeff wasn't ready. So it's like, Hitmonkey. And then Jeff's supposed to be the first week card. Then they go, Jeff ain't ready yet. Jeff is going to be second. Right. I totally agree. I think Jeff was the battle pass card for sure.
Yeah. So like, I feel like a season pass is more about the setting, these animals and whatnot, than it is the season pass card. So you could get away with choosing.
Yeah, and they talked about that like on Twitter. Like Glenn talked about that in a tweet the other day, where they basically set what the season pass card's going to be, and then build the theme around it with what other cards are going to come out and the whole theme of the season in general. So I think that's really cool. And us sitting here talking, I think we've all figured it out. I think we combine all our ideas into one. So season pass comes out, you buy the season pass, the 4 cards all come out on season pass, and you have a choice of which 4 of the brand new cards do you want when you unlock the season pass. Then all of them already in the token shop, 2 of them are Series 4 and 2 of them are Series 5. Bam.
There you go.
Molds all our ideas together, fixes everything.
There you go.
I think it'd be great. That's great.
Yeah, you can choose everybody. And then another thing that Team Secondary is so passionate about is everybody having varying collections. Mm-hmm. So like what better way than to mix it up, put the agency in the players' hands, they get to choose. And then it's like, oh, you pick that, I pick this, I'm building this deck, blah, blah, blah. Like,
right.
Oh man.
Exactly. You would definitely have people blowing up Twitter. I'm team Baby Shark. Well, I'm team
Hitmonkey. Right,
exactly.
Yeah.
Correct. Dude. And that's right. And until the end of the month, everybody would have not the same cards and not the same variants, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we solved the problem, guys.
Wow. Yeah, we'll figure this out. I'll clip this out. I'll send it to Second Dinner. We'll get them working on it.
Yeah.
Definitely do that. I think that's the way to do it, hands down.
Perfect.
But yeah, the biggest thing that we didn't speak about yet, we've touched on it, is Kitty Pride. We're
Buggy
not sure
Pride.
when she's coming back. Like we said, we did discuss that. Hopefully, this patch coming up. But what do you think we're going to get for waiting or losing Kitty Pride? They said they're going to reimburse us somehow. What is that going to be?
So I didn't get a chance to get Kitty Pride. I wanted Kitty Pride. I think before they took her off, I think there's like 6 changeovers in the shop before they took her out or whatever. Got unlucky. Didn't get her. Didn't see her at all. Would have instantly bought her. But I think it's tricky. In my opinion, I'll whatever second dinner wants to give me. It's fine. I didn't get the card or anything. I'm just worried about blowback, feedback. I mean, obviously you're going to get people that are not going to be happy no matter what. But I think if they are truly looking at something that would solve it for everyone, like I don't see how anyone could complain. If you got Kitty, you get 6,000 tokens. If you didn't get Kitty, you get Kitty. I mean, if they can have the technology to do the accounts that way or whatnot. But I think if you do that, I mean, who can complain? If you didn't get Kitty, you have Kitty now for free. If you did get Kitty, you got a refund on your tokens, which they say no refunds, but game breaking bugs, you got to be able to budge a little bit.
I mean, that'd be incredible. And unfortunately, I feel like that's a dream scenario a little bit. Like I really hope
Nexus
so.
events.
True.
Like just Nexus event.
You know what? That's so true. And not a lot of people know really what Next events were and how they, really turned it around for us. And that was just a great move by Team Second Dinner. But maybe the player base is a little bit too big to warrant that nowadays. I don't know. But then again, why not? I feel like you make everybody happy. I would love to see that. I just don't know if that's what it's going to be. What I hope it isn't is I hope it's not like a mediocre amount of credits or a special avatar, or even like that could kind of be cool, but it's just not quite like a title that says I survived but Buggy Pride or something like that. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
I think I agree. I hope it's not any of those. I really do think that is a dream scenario. But yes, like the next events, we were reimbursed 100% and still kept what we got. Yeah. So for Kitty Pride, I just hope that it's something to that level. Maybe not give us back to 6,000 tokens, but something to that extent, right? 3,000 tokens. Those who didn't get Kitty Pride, she's in your shop for, as long as you need her to be, I guess. I mean, something to that extent. But yeah, I really hope they give us something good.
50% off. Oops, sorry. I was just going to say 50% off your next token purchase or something like that.
Yeah. There you go.
So this was the idea. I know a lot of people, you look at variants and stuff. A lot of people are looking forward to the wedding dress one. Wedding dress, the Kitty. What if you did that? What if everyone got that variant? So that means if you didn't already have Kitty, you have Kitty and can play with it now. But then the people that got Kitty might be like, all I got was a variant.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
The whole purpose of everybody getting variants is to not have everybody has the same variants. I know we eventually get there, but to give everybody the same variant, then that variant is not special anymore.
Everyone gets random Kitty Pride variants. How about that?
That's fine.
You just get a random one.
That's fine. That we could deal with.
And then everyone can be upset about getting the bad one.
Yeah, that's fine. You got to do it, right? It's free. Like right now, we all got mystery variants for free. All those who got pixels, upset. Sorry, it's free. Can't get mad at free, right? And like right now, only a few people got the Khazar Dan Hip, right? If everybody got Khazar Dan Hip, it wouldn't be special today. Wouldn't be.
That's true. It's very true.
True. What about a lifetime supply of Kitty Pride boosters? Just infinite Kitty boosters. Yeah,
that's perfect. Give us that. I'm happy for that. That'd be nice. Split Kitty as much as you want to. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what they plan to do, but Kitty Pryde was a fun card. I enjoyed it, buggy and all. So let's see what happens. But to go back on one last thing for Sentry, they gave him the buff, did a great job, but they didn't fix his bug. Every time that void comes out, the game, I have to refresh, turn the game off, put it back on, because it gives me the all snap
Really?
every time. Every time.
I think I've had
When I
that once
play it
or twice.
or an opponent. Yes, you once or twice. Either I play him or the opponent. It always does it, and I cannot just reconnect. I have to close Snap, reopen it,
Oh.
and play it. Now,
Dude.
I'm not sure about mobile, but on Steam, it does that every time.
Yeah,
So-
that's weird. I play mostly on mobile, and I've had that happen, like I said, less than a handful of times. Of my opponent played or I played and it crashes, but like that just randomly happens sometimes. I don't even know if I remember it being Century most time, but yeah, like I do remember that it's happened a few times, but yeah, every time, yeah, that's crazy. I did not
That's
know that.
brutal.
They
Yeah.
should fix that. Don't buff them
Yeah,
anymore.
yes,
Fix
I'm
the
sure it's
problem.
on their list.
Yeah. So speaking of cards, if you guys aren't, we'll leave a link in the description below. Drew has an amazing Discord, and in that Discord, they make custom cards. Now I know you guys watch some of the loot videos, even Willow's, but we're gonna look at a few for the first time. Okay,
Yeah.
we haven't seen it yet, and we're gonna have our take on it.
Yeah, how
So
about I can tee it up if you want, Ken, and then we'll get your
Oh, yeah,
guys'
go ahead.
first reactions. If you want to pull it up on the screen for the
Yeah.
viewers,
All right.
because I know a little bit of the people who made it and stuff like that. So okay, let's start with that top one there.
Stanley.
Yeah, Stan Lee.
Ooh.
All right, so Stan Lee is a 6/1, and at the end of the game, if you spent all your energy each turn, fill your board with random cards. So this was made by a user named Jack Pack, and it was during the challenge where I was gone to New York. So fitting, huh? And
That's awesome.
so I made it a 2-week challenge, and I said, guys, just make your best possible cards. And this card got number 1 on the challenge. So what do you guys think?
You
Luke,
go ahead,
you
Ken.
gotta go. Oh, we go first. Listen, this card looks great. First and foremost, looks great. The whole Stanley with the Stanley handwriting, and it's a 6/1. All the cards in the background, the Marvel cards, sick. We got Ant-Man, Wasp, we got Thing, Invisible Woman, Black Panther, Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man. Okay, nonetheless, awesome art. First thing to say, awesome art. Awesome ability. So at the end of the game, if you spent all your energy each turn, fill the board up with random cards. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. I think that'd be awesome if they did that. But yeah, that's great. I see why I won.
Yeah, so yeah, I absolutely love this card. I'm in your Discord community, so I've seen this one. I watch your videos too, so I've seen this one before. But yeah, this is amazing. I love everything about this card. Like I said, the nameplate's perfect.
Yeah.
The art's perfect. Everything's awesome, and the effect is really cool and unique, and really promotes a certain type of play, like a certain archetype of trying to make things work to have that effect go off. And what's really cool is it's kind of because like I said, yeah, back in New York is when this was submitted, but we've seen this template now with High Evolutionary caring about unspent mana and spent mana and stuff like that. So that's kind of like a design space that they're already going into. So this is another card that's already going into a design space that they're already in. But yeah, I love this card. This is fantastic. I would definitely be jamming this. And just think about the variants. Just the amazing, crazy variants you could have for a Stanley card. Like you could have one for you would never run out of ideas. You could have a MCU one for every MCU cameo, every single one, as the mailman, as every single one, as the janitor,
my God.
everyone. It'd be fantastic.
Wow, that gets me so excited for that. That's so perfect. Why we have to have that variant in. I really like this one. Like there's so much craziness going on, like with the the little mini built-in quest, which I love cards that do that, right? And it's like things like, what if Project Pegasus pops up and all of a sudden now you got to fill out your energy, right? You have a Stan Lee deck. You got to spend 6 energy all of a sudden on turn 1 to make sure that you can complete your quest. Or your opponent plays Magic. Now there's a 7th turn and you're like, oh shoot, I have to find a way to spend
Fill
6 energy on turn 6 or 7 energy on turn 7 rather. And then also you have to find a way to do it and still have space on your board so that Stanley can appropriately fill up the locations with random stuff. And hopefully that's got a decent amount of power. So I was like, wow, this is just so cool. And the way I envisioned like an animation would be maybe like a paintbrush comes out or something like a pencil and it draws the characters onto the board after they're summoned. Oh,
that'd be definitely gotta have animation. A voice line. Excelsior.
Yes,
gotta have that for sure. And see, and that's what's cool too. See, that's what I was thinking. You're talking about the board space. I don't think that'd really be a problem depending on it, because I would definitely play a deck with like basically like 2 1-drops, 2 2-drops, 2 3-drops, trying to get that line. Because then in that case, like when you play Stanley, he's your 6th card. So you've only played 6 cards out of 12. Then you get 6 random cards. Like that could be really exciting.
Awesome.
It's like Quicksilver domino value, right? All of a sudden you run those
exactly.
Well,
that's exactly what I was about to point out too. It makes you play with other cards, like because like kind of like we were talking about High Evolutionary, like it's giving the no ability cards like a different deck that they can be played in. It's the same thing with this. It allows cards like Domino, Quicksilver that doesn't see play. I would definitely play both of those in a Stanley deck. But like other like powerful cards like Sunspot, you would never put a Sunspot in a Stanley deck, and it promotes diversity of different cards being ran. So this card's fantastic. This needs to be in the game right now.
I would definitely try to have way more 1-cost cards just to play and lay it out, and then Killmonger on 5 with a 2-cost card to clear up the board. And then have Stanley fill every other lane up.
Yes.
That would be
would be a killer combo. Yeah. Just have Stanley summon 10 cards. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
10 wasps.
Think about it. 10 wasps.
I mean, that would be a Twitter thread of how lucky or unlucky have you gotten with Stanley.
RNG for real.
Absolutely. Okay. This next one is less on the RNG side. So this was just super cool. Now, the only thing is that I think it's a little bit strong with a certain card, but it's the Infinity Gauntlet. So a 1/2 ongoing, you only draw cards shuffled into your deck if there are any. This was made by a user named Infernite, and he actually animated this card. He does a lot of animations where he'll move them and it'll have like a reflection. So this was kind of glowing. It was really neat to see. So what did you guys think about this one?
So you only draw cards shuffled into your deck if there are any. Wow. That's pretty cool. And it's an ongoing ability. So this just removes Crystal out of the game. And I think this is great. This is a great card. I mean, look at the art first. Art's phenomenal. The Gauntlet, I think. I'm intrigued that we don't have this card in the game already, right? It should have been with Thanos. But that's the cool part, to play it with Thanos, right? So now all your stones and everything else is shuffled into your deck. And I think this is awesome. I like the art. I like the 1/2, the cost as well. Maybe you should make it a 2/2, right? This way it doesn't get Killmongered. But I like the art, the stones, the Infinity Gauntlet, everything to it is perfect. And then of course the ongoing ability is pretty good too. So I like this card. What about you, Lou?
Yeah, I like this card too. So like obviously my brain's running 1,000 miles a minute going through every single card and interaction that this could affect with. It's just the way my brain works. The first of all, the art, fantastic. Definitely need to check out. I haven't seen the visual effect, but that's really cool. You were talking about he animated it. I really like the nameplate with the Infinity Gauntlet. It's kind of like a Star Wars, like it's tilted like a Star Wars scroll, and then it has even like the little gems at the bottom. The effect with the ongoing, I think that's really cool. I mean, the Thor with the hammer, you'll just draw the hammer. Is cool. And then especially if you like, you're going to draw the hammer, lockjaw, it goes back into your deck. You're going to draw the hammer again, play it into lockjaw lane again. Like could be really fun and powerful. It also has downsides too. Someone rock slides you, or you get one of the dreaded rock locations, like you're just drawing rocks now. I think it's a super cool fun card.
So actually, keep it a 1. Keep it a 1.
Yeah, yeah. There, yeah. So you can kill Margaret. So one of the cooler strategies that they talked about as well. So obviously, amazing synergy with Thanos, like Ken said, and then like Luke, you're saying with Rock Slide. But imagine if you're running the Darkhawk list with Rock Slide and stuff, and you Viper over the Infinity Gauntlet, so your opponent's always drawing the rocks.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be wild too? Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I think Thor Lockjaw would be my go-to day one. I would want to try out. Because that just infinite hammers. Just keep getting hammers. Keep giving me hammers.
Stop.
So good.
That's gonna be a Shang-Chi Thor right there for you.
Armor. I play armor in my deck, obviously.
Armor. Not shuffling armor in your deck. I don't know. But yeah, no, this card is great. It's gonna be awesome. So we go on to the next card.
Yeah. And then the last one that I got here, so this was by Mighty Igarashi, and it's a 2/3 slapstick. So this is always a character that they tend to make a lot of custom cards for. And this was for our move challenge. And we were trying to make, move decks don't see a lot of love. So I was like, okay, how can you give something good for move decks? How can we help them out? And this card right here, a 2/3, when a card moves to this location, move it back. What do you think?
This is great, especially with cards with Craven, right? And like Luke mentioned earlier in his tweet, giving Human Torch a buff. So if you have Craven in a location and you have Human Torch and you move Human Torch to this card, send it back, that card gets the buff double with Craven. I mean, that's a cool move combo there. But as far as the art goes, it looks phenomenal. Definitely looks like slapstick. Looks like the animation for this card should be the hammer swinging, and just how Iron Fist sends the cards to the left. This card should just swing the hammer and push the card back to where it came from. But awesome art. Love how it's in between the 2 and the 3. It looks just like a Marvel Snap card. I think it's perfect. Awesome art. And yeah, I just want to see the animation. So that's what I think on it.
I'm pretty sure I got it on the video. They made an animation, literally an in-game one, where a hammer comes out and hits the card back.
See?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's awesome.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I love this card too. I love the look of it. I love everything. I love the effect of the I think it would be huge in move decks. This is actually, it's so funny. So Stanley, Infinity Gauntlet, I feel like those are perfect designs. I feel like they'd be really fun. This one actually to me speaks of being too strong because of what you were talking about with Human Torch. Like Human Torch, what's the other? Vulture, like how big they get with a move. And so with this card on the board of getting that double move, like you move, Human Torch one time and it goes from a 2 to a 4 and then a 4 to the 8 is crazy. Or Vulture getting +10. Like seems crazy. I feel like the effect and stuff is fine. It maybe needs to be like a 4-drop or a 5-drop or something like that.
Yeah.
So you only have a turn or two to move stuff around and have shenanigans.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine doing that? Right, moving Human Torch and Vulture with Doctor Strange and then Hamdo on turn 6, and then this card slaps everything back. Oh my gosh. Sorry, that'd be awesome.
There's an unreleased card also. I forget the name of it, but it's a 6-cost 5-power card, and it's on reveal is all your cards move to a random location. So I just thinking of something like that. Yeah. If you have Human Torch and Vulture and Craven all that stuff out and Dagger, and then you just play this and they all move. And then they all move back to where they were with double buffs. Like, because to me, that would be extremely broken because you know where they're going to end up. They're going to end up where they started, but with their triggers all happening multiple times. So.
That sounds so good.
Yeah. Another sneaky little thing that they had mentioned. So obviously, yeah, like you guys mentioned, like a lot of move synergies. I'm with you, Luke, probably on the strong side. But another one at the time when we did this challenge, arrow was in its original state, and you could use this as an arrow counter because if you play it in the same lane that arrow played, it would move your cards back to where they originally were before arrow moved them over, which was kind of neat too.
Stegron counter, Juggernaut counter. I mean, Polaris counter. I mean, yeah, they definitely counter stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it should almost be like an on-reveal cards that move this turn. You can move them back, so it's just a one-time thing.
Yeah.
And then you could still keep the cost cheaper if it's on reveal also.
What happened to Android M? Right? Does it put it back every time Android M pulls it?
Oh, the Asteroid M, the location.
Yeah, Asteroid M. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a infinite combo, right? Like you play a vulture, vulture into lane not Astro M, it gets moved over and then it gets hit back and then
it moves over and hit back. If it's not on the reveal, right?
Yeah.
Like will it continue in that loop? Fast forward.
Fast forward.
Time will tell.
Wow. These guys did great. Phenomenal job on these cards. I gotta go check it out now because wow. These cards need to be in the game. Second dinner, make it happen.
Oh man,
Stanley would be so fun.
Yeah,
it's wild. The creativity of the community is amazing. Like I hope that maybe not my channel, but just in general that they see some of the custom cards that these people make because it's such creative ideas. And in a game where there's only so many keywords and there's so much power total that you can kind of mess around with, we have lower numbers than a lot of card games. There's just infinite possibilities, and it's been proven with this community. It's crazy what they come up with.
Totally agree. Those cards are awesome stuff. So yeah, all in all, I think with the conquest mode coming and all these OTs every Thursday and second dinner and the team actually listening to everyone and putting out patches to fix cards and buffs and nerfs, I think Snap's in a very great position to continue to be awesome and be around for a very long time. So before we go, is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
So there was one thing I was just thinking about. I think one of the problems that the community's had is that the patch cycle can seem a little slow. And I think the OTAs are a great way to solve that. Like the thing with Red Skull, like we'll knock it down a power because we can't get Cheery fixed yet or changed.
Right.
And then so we'll nerf it a little bit more. And then afterwards we'll see and we'll buff it back up if we need to. So I think that's fantastic, being able to do that. So.
Yeah. Anything from you, Drew?
It's good things. I honestly... I like the direction. I love the fact that they're working on a new mode. I'm really excited for Conquest mode, like you mentioned. That seems really fun. Like the only thing that bums me out sometimes is the price tag that maybe defers a lot of people. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, but like a few YouTubers will do polls of what collection level are you? And I kind of follow those every month. I think Snapster, for instance, is one that does that. And it sometimes concerns me because there is a shift every month that he does it, but it's not in the right direction. Like it's like majority of people are increasing their collection level because they're sticking with the game, but very few every month, less and less people at lower collection levels. And I wonder about the growth or the barrier to entry of the game for new players might be growing and growing and growing as more cards are released. I don't know. I feel like that's a long-term problem that they might have to address. Not now, but 6 months down the line, something like that.
Something you should think about for sure. Because I mean, think about starting now new. Yeah. The only benefit is probably getting to infinite real quick, right? And that's the only benefit if you stay in that series of cards. But other than that, trying to get every card now and trying to be competitive is going to be a problem, especially if you're free to play. So I think you're right. I think it's something that needs to really look at because it's a huge gap right now. I mean, you still have fun, right? Regardless of what, if you're coming in right now, you're still having a good time. But to be competitive is going to be a bit tricky.
Yeah. And that is something they've talked about. Like I've seen it a few different places. They are talking and still working out like a catch-up mechanic for newer players. So hopefully we'll see that, or at least see it on like a future roadmap, and maybe they'll explain what they're gonna do here in a couple of months or something like that. I've know they have talked about they definitely want to put some kind of catch up mechanic to help new players or players that are still at lower levels to catch up on card collection and stuff. So
Nice.
Not pro bundles, right?
Draft mode. That'd be nice. People can try cards they don't own by paying a fee to get into a draft mode, like 200 gold, and you get a run or something like that. Sound kind of like Arena from Hearthstone. Easy to
That'd be
burden.
awesome. Yeah.
Food for thought.
No, I agree. All right, guys. So again, Drew, we'll leave all his social media down below. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. And hope to see you back soon, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Anytime. Hit me up, guys.
All right. Awesome. All
Okay,
right, guys.
sweet. Thank you.
Peace.